This is entitled Grandma and Yo-Yo Ma. My husband and I raised Kirsten, our only child, to be independent and adventuresome. She always made good choices, so when she announced plans to marry Marco, a fellow RISD graduate, and live abroad to be closer to his family, we joined in their excitement and supported their decision. We secretly hoped for grandchildren, longing to rekindle the joy of holding a baby in our arms, but we knew they would need time to establish a home, careers, and new overseas connections. We waited patiently for 8 long years. Finally, when we received word that Kirsten and Marco expected a baby in mid-July of 2014, we booked a flight to Madrid and rented an apartment for the whole month. On July 16th, Frida Louise was born. The bonding with her was immediate. She was so alert and content. Our parting at the end of the month was sad. However, our spirits were sustained with promises of frequent Skype calls and photo postings. When fall came, there were hints from Spain of a Christmas visit to the U.S. We rented the spare bedroom, borrowed a pack and play and car seat, and hoped. The week before Thanksgiving, we received the big news. Marco had a job offer and temporary housing in New York City starting in early January. Suddenly, in 3 days' time, they would fly to the U.S. to spend Thanksgiving week with us and look for a place in commuting distance to the city. They planned to return to Europe for Christmas with Marco's family, then pack up for the cross-Atlantic move. Their return in January was exciting chaos. There was a flurry of frequent weekend visits at our home or meetings at train stations in northern New Jersey or along the Hudson River, so we could be with Frida while they continued checking out properties. Then, one weekend at our home, Kirsten and Marco asked if we would babysit Frida for the afternoon so they could have some time alone for cross-country skiing. We happily agreed. Frida was now almost 6 months old and beginning to eat solid foods. She was still breastfeeding, but her nursing had tapered off. Weaning reduced the abundance of her mother's milk and eliminated the express milk bottle supply. Still, babysitting seemed doable. Frida, generally a happy, contented child, was easily entertained the first few hours with toys, books, and bouncing. The snow kept falling during this time, and as the 3rd hour of babysitting approached, my husband bundled up to snowblow the driveway for Kirsten and Marco's return. I, Grandma, would be alone with Frida. She started to rub her eyes, look around, and utter the first mews of distress. Toys and stories no longer held her interest. A diaper check revealed no problems. An offer of some baby food was rejected. Then the cries became heart-wrenching loud. I wrapped Frida in a blanket, held her to my shoulder, and gently swayed her back and forth, walking the length of our tiny home. Thinking back to when Kirsten was a baby, I remembered singing lullabies and Rodgers and Hammerstein show tunes to lull her to sleep. However, age had altered my octave range and singing ability, so I searched for an alternative. I popped the closest CD I found into the Bose radio disc player. Sounds of Yo-Yo Ma emanated, beginning with Bach's Suite No. 1 for unaccompanied cello in G minor, Prelude. It may not be one's first choice for baby music, but the oddity seemed to mystify Frida. I continued to sway and make bopping sounds to the beat of the music. The following tune I recognized as the theme from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Frida and I were both hooked on the building crescendos, which lent themselves to bouncing motions more than swaying. By now, the cryings had totally subsided as we moved into Vivaldi's Concerto in G minor, I Allegro. When the Libertango began, we developed our own movements to the soul of the tango. The Eternal Vow from the movie Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon brought the heavy breathing sounds, recognizable as a sleeping baby. The next 7 songs were diverse yet equally enchanting, ending with an old shaker classic, Simple Gifts. This was the only one with vocal accompaniment. The soft blend of Alison Krauss's voice with the cello turned the finale into a lovely lullaby. Soon after the CD ended, the parents and Grandpa returned to find Grandma holding the child in peaceful repose. Was this a fluke experience? No. On 3 separate occasions, the CD produced the same amazing results. There will come a time when Frida outgrows this pattern and will crave different diversions, maybe hard rock. But for now, thank God for Yo-Yo Ma.